Check. Welcome back to the Space Wheel channel. Let me start this video off with some words of wisdom, and that is, it's not about motivation, it's about discipline. If I only worked on my project when I felt like it, I probably wouldn't get a whole lot done, because there's many times I come in here to work on it, and it's really hard to get started. I think people in the creative field will say like your passion shouldn't feel like your job, but I kind of disagree with that, because you kind of do have to treat it as a job if you're wanting to get anything done. Now, I'm not saying that you don't enjoy what you're doing, but you have to look at your game as a job that has tasks. Like your game has tasks that you have to get done, regardless if you feel like doing them or not. You know, when I sit down at my desk, I have zero distractions. There's no phone around me. There's nothing that's going off. I set a timer for 2 hours, and during that entire 2 hours, I'm solely focused on whatever task I'm doing that day. I'd say most of you guys watching probably go to school or you have a day job, and 9 times out of 10, you don't feel like going, but you do because of the consequences if you don't. You kind of feel like you have to. And with making games, the gratification is so delayed that you don't really feel the consequences until a little bit later in life. And then you look back and you see all the things that you didn't do. I'm 30 now, and I actually started making games when I was 12. But I did it for 3 or 4 years, and I learned a lot, and I made a lot of small games. I was using Game Maker, the Torque game engine, if that's still around. But I think I took a break for like 6 or 7 years and got into film and music and all these different things. I try not to sit and ruminate on all the years that I didn't do game development and, you know, where would I be if I did? Like that part of my life is over and it's done, and I'm okay with that. I learned a lot in those 6 or 7 years with doing other hobbies that I still use in game development. Personally, I feel like I needed a family and people depending on me, because I think it's so easy to let yourself down, but when you have other people depending on you, it's harder to let them down. So there may be things in your life that you have to go through that help you stay on a productive path. I hope that makes sense. But if you're enjoying this video, please leave me a like, subscribe to the journey. You'll be the first to see any progress that I have on any games that I'm making, and you'll get to see game dev topics like this if you enjoy this. I do think there's a possibility of game developers becoming burnout if you try to be overproductive, because there's so much to do and we always try to fit too much in a short amount of time, and it can wear on you if you feel like you're not progressing fast enough. You know, I don't personally watch the videos that say I made a game in Unity in 10 days or a month or whatever, because I'm not them, they're not me. Even you watching this video right now, like you have a totally different workflow, or you might be working through what your workflow even is. As long as you're learning something each day and you're making little steps, you're making progress and you're being productive. Like the other day, I spent an entire hour just making nails, putting nails in my shark model. And it's like somebody else could have probably done that in 20 minutes, but it's just like we're all individuals and we all do things at a different rate. Even if it wasn't much progress or I didn't feel like I was being super productive on it, it's like I still did it, and it was better than not doing anything at all. I will leave you with some short, sweet bullet points to end this video, starting with, there'll be other devs that say make small games. I say make a game you're comfortable with that makes you want to be productive. You are your own individual, so create games that express yourself and don't follow trends, because eventually you're going to burn out and you're not going to want to be productive on that game because you're just trying to make something that's popular. Make something that expresses yourself and put yourself in your game. I know most of us probably want to be full-time game devs, but I would say stop following money. Money isn't a bad thing. Like, everybody needs it, and that should be the goal eventually, to have a self-sustaining studio. But if you're only following the money, then you're going to not want to be productive on your games because it's just all money driven. Eventually that burns out. Like, there's no passion or creativity in those games because there's nothing worth fighting for. I'd say most of you guys listening have several ideas that could be amazingly successful. Like, I don't doubt that a bit. But start with yourself and learn how to be productive, and then eventually you can expand, because if you're constantly trying to be productive, you're going to continue to grow as a developer. You're going to continue to grow as a person. And then eventually you can expand and have a pretty successful studio and be able to work with other people that trust you because you've put so much faith in yourself and you didn't let yourself down. So I say let's all have a productive year of creating, and let's see some great indie games the next couple of years. Take care, guys.